Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be drawing this character, this little 2D monster character. I have a video where we draw a 2D character, but we use the pencil tool. I'm going to go here to draw mode, and we use mostly the pencil. In this case, we're going to draw it with using the circle tool, the curve tool, and the line tool, as opposed to the pencil. And we're going to fill everything with the fill tool, the bucket tool. So before we get started, let me just show you what I've got here so far. I just got a 2D grease pencil object which we've drawn, a plane as a background, and we've got a couple of lights, but you can't see them because I've hidden them. Not here. Here we're gonna turn on these extras, and you'll see these lights. One of them is lighting the backdrop, and then the other ones are giving them this little highlight. I'm gonna press 0 here and here. If I turn them off, you can see how they're giving them that highlight on his head and on his body. Boom, boom, right there. And the other one is making the highlight behind him. And so let's go ahead and get started. I am going to start up a new 2D animation. Don't save. And I am using Blender 2.91.2, so 91.2. And the first thing I'm going to do to get started, guys, is I'm going to go to my object data properties to reveal the layers. And I'm going to add a layer. I'm going to call this layer guides. And I'm going to create a guide here. I'm going to just grab the line tool. I'm going to grab the red stroke, and I'm going to make it 100%. And I'm going to just draw the ground. I'm going to click, hold shift, and then let go. And then hit return. And you see that I've got some dots. That's not a big deal. So I go to the materials. It's the square stroke, but here in the mode type, you see squares. I'm gonna just convert it to a line. That way we get a full line. And so right about the center of the page or the screen, I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna click and drag, and I can drag anywhere, but if I hold down the shift, it just constrains it up and down. So I'm gonna just do this and then hit return. This will be my center line, and this will be my floor, and then we can start drawing. What I'd like to do is maybe get another layer done, maybe a new layer, and we'll call this sketch layer. And so let's draw. I am on the sketch layer, and in fact, look, check this out, guys. I'm gonna lock every other layer. Get in the habit of locking your layers, because it's really easy to forget that you're on a layer and then start drawing, and before you know it, you've got a bunch of things on a layer that you don't want to. So I'm going to lock these layers. I have the sketch layer selected. We're going to draw this the head, just a circle. I'm going to start drawing from the center by holding the Option key down. And I don't want to hold the shift. The shift will constrain it to a perfect circle. I want to let go of the shift and then maybe squeeze it in a little bit. Make it a little bit oval. Hit return. And then I'm going to do the same for the body. Hold down the Option to draw from the center. And I'm going to make it slightly bigger than the head. And then enter. Now I just need to move it, maybe move the head down a little bit. I'm going to go to edit mode, select this one, and then move it down. to about right there. Select both of them. I think I'm up from the ground high enough, but if I needed to, I could adjust. All right, cool. So that's the head, that's the body. I'm going to start erasing some of the lines. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to grab my eraser. I'm going to go back to draw, grab the eraser, and I'm going to hit F to adjust the brush size. I just hit F, and then I'm going to make it as a strength of 1. That's 100%, and I'm going to erase this line. I don't need it. That's the body. Oops, I think I went over a little bit. Let me see if I can get to the point and then hit F and then just draw, boom, right to there and right to there, and then erase some of this. Before I continue, I'm gonna make the guidelines, this layer, adjust the opacity. I'm gonna bring it down quite a bit so that it's not to interfere with my drawing. All right, cool. Let's continue. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit and start drawing the arms. I'm gonna bring the reference image. So the arms, they just kind of start off from here and then hug the body. And then for the hands, I didn't draw any fingers to make it easier. I just draw little mitten hands. And so again, we just come down from the shoulder and then we'll do the hand and then the arm up the side. So let's get started. I am gonna get the pencil and then just oops, see that? I almost started drawing on the guides layer, and so we're gonna draw to roughly the arms about right there. So I'm gonna do this and then swing back and then draw the thumb and then the rest of the arm. Easy. I'm just gonna, and don't worry, this is the sketch. I'm just sketching some stuff out. Don't worry if they're not perfectly straight. Just like that. All right, I'm gonna erase some of this stuff. Good. And then let's draw the legs. It almost looks like a snowman. I'm going to get the pencil and I'm going to do this and this, this, and this. And I'm not going to bother drawing like realistic feet or anything. I'm just going to do this, do a little curve, do this. He's got feet or paws or anything. It doesn't matter. He's a cartoon and we've got creative freedom. There it is. I'm going to erase some of this line to about right there. And we just want kind of a guide. All right, let's move on to the top. Let's draw his horns. I'm gonna do like a just a triangle to get the placement, and then we could do this. Oops, maybe a little narrow. Make this one a little taller. There we go. And then the the eyes, and then just a big old smile, and then the underbite, the fangs coming from inside his mouth. All right, I think we're done as far as, oh, and his stomach. I think we're done as far as the sketch. Let's go ahead and start drawing. So here's the sketch and the guides. I'm going to keep them on. I'm going to just move them towards the bottom, the guidelines. Move them towards the bottom. I'm going to lock these two layers. Turn on the lines layer. I'm going to draw the lines first, and then we'll do the fills. And so the sketch layer, I am going to turn down the opacity a little bit, 0.5. And then let's go ahead and get started drawing the lines. So for the lines, I'm going to change from a pencil to a pen, and then I'm going to get the solid stroke. And then I'm going to select this curve tool. And I'm going to show you what the curve tool looks like. I am going to, that's about 60 and 100%. So this, you click and drag, and then it gives you 4 handles. The ends are yellow, and then the blue ones in the middle. And you can grab these handles and start forming this curve any way you want it. You can move around the ends as well. And then when you're happy with the curve, just hit the return, and then you've got it. I'm going to undo that. We're in the lines layer, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start up here at the top. I'm going to zoom in. Let's go ahead and start up here at the top with the curve tool, and I'm going to grab it from here, and then I'm going to, I think it's too thick. Hold on. Maybe I'm going to go down to about 45, 46. So I'm going to grab it all the way to here, and then I'm going to start shaping it. If you don't have a tablet, you can very well do this with a mouse. Not a big deal. This is like working in Illustrator with the Bezier curves. So I like that curve. Hit return to accept. Let's do another one. I'm going to start right where this one ended, and just move those handles to where you get the curve that you want, the curvature. You can adjust all day long. See that? You can adjust anywhere you want, and then hit return. Awesome. One thing that I want to do is on this one that I did, if you notice, these lines have a tapered pointy end, and that's exactly what we're going to do next. So I'm going to zoom into, hit the 0 to the ends here. And I'm going to go to the sculpt mode. And in the sculpt mode, thickness, I'm going to get the thickness brush, and I am going to apply it to this. But you notice that instead of making it smaller, it made it bigger. I'm going to undo that. Oh, and in fact, let's go ahead and save our our work. Remember to save the work, please. Because yesterday I recorded this, didn't save monster, let's call it 02. I didn't save it. I was about 95% done, and Blender just crashed on me. And so we're selected the thickness brush here in the sculpt mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the tool settings, and instead of add, I'm going to do subtract. And so it should make it smaller. And there it is. I just need to define exactly. I'm going to brush along the side here, having to go back as much as I need to till I get the pointiness that I want. There it is. And there we go. If you need to, you can just hide the sketch layer. Oops. Hide them and see how you're doing with that tapered end, if these bother you. All right, so as I go, I am going to kind of ease in like that. And that's how I got the tapered ink look that we want to do. All right, so I'm going to do the horns. In fact, I'd rather do one arm, and then we'll speed up the video. But let me get this one arm done so that I can show you guys. It's more the same. Draw mode, curve tool. I'm going to go from the joint to the joint right there. I say the wrist is about right there. So some of these joints don't take a tapered end. That's okay. I'm going to go from there to there. Make sure that it sits correctly. Right there. And I'm going to go from here to here. This one does. This one will be tapered. Hit return. And then I'm going to do this curve here. From here to here. And then start shaping it. That's all there is to it. That's it. That's it. And then I'll taper that next. Sculpt mode. Zoom in. And then I could taper this. There it is. And so I'm going to continue. I'm going to draw the entire thing. You know how I got these tapered ends done. You know how I got the curve done. I'm just going to speed up the process, and then I'll meet you on the other side. And there we have it. It's the entire character. Oh, we did forget one thing, the stomach. And so and there we have it. I'm going to turn off the sketch layer and the guides. Turn them off. The cool thing about Blender, obviously, is if you need to adjust anything, as I think it was maybe a little tall, you can always go into edit mode and move, rotate, and scale things. I'm going to scale this, make him a little shorter, and then I'm going to move him, of course, move all the body up, and then I'm going to grab his head and I'm going to rotate it just slightly to give him a little bit more personality, and move it right there. And so we have the outlines. All we need to do now is color it. I'm going to save. Go ahead and color it. And in order to start that, let's go to the materials tab and let's start adding up some of these materials, guys. Let's start add a new material. New. We're going to call this material green or body, whatever. No stroke, fill, and then we're going to pick a green, maybe something, something like that here. I'm going to go to draw mode, to my fill, and then I got to change, remember, I got to change into my fills layer here. Select the fill layer, and now we can start filling it in. So fills layer, I've got my green, and click, boom, he's green. Awesome. Now next color is the stomach. Let's do a new material. Let's call it yellow. We could be calling it stomach, body, this, that. We're just calling it by the name of the color. No stroke, fill, and let's pick a yellow, yellowish green, and click on the stomach. Boom, we've got a stomach. The teeth, let's make it white. New material. I'm going to call this teeth because there is another white and the highlights of his eyes. So again, no stroke, fill, white, all the way to white. Maybe I'll make him a little bit blue like that, and then click, click. And then the horns, let's make a new material. Let's call it horns. That way we know exactly what we used it for. And let's paint those horns blue-ish. Right about there. And that's it. We need to draw the eyes. I'm going to save. And the cool thing about doing the materials this way, you can grab the green and change it as much as you need. And boom, it takes effect. The yellow, maybe make it a little bit more yellowy, a little lighter. There we go. And so let's draw the eyes in the fills layer. I'm in the fills layer, and we're going to draw the eyes in the fills layer. But before we do, let's do a new material. We'll call this eyes, and no stroke, fill, and we'll leave it at black. And I'm going to draw a circle right about here, and enter, return. And I'm going to go to edit mode, click on that circle, shift D to duplicate, and then move them over wherever the other one needs to go. Boom, right there. I'm going to zoom in. And draw yet another one. See, this is why I'm going to add a new material, new. We're going to call it highlight. And we're going to no stroke, fill, and make it completely white. And then let's go to the draw mode. I am in the circle, and then I'm just going to put a little highlight right there. Return, and right there, return. And that's it. That is all of it. Oh, we are missing some little patches on his skin. Let's get those done. I'm gonna hit save. I think I learned my lesson from having Blender quit on me. New material, new. We'll call this patches, patch. And let's select like a dark green. Like a dark green, even darker than that. Something like that. And I'm just going to draw, I'm still in the fills layer, and I'm just going to draw a little circle that is a little oval like that. Hit return, and that's all we need. Check this out. Go to the edit mode, and I'm going to have this selected, that one. Move it into place, maybe around right there. Hit R to rotate, Shift D to duplicate. Again, R to rotate, S to scale, and then I'm going to move it into place. I'm going to Shift D to duplicate, R to rotate, and then S to scale. And there it is. I'm going to copy some of these. I'm going to maybe copy this one, Shift D, put it over here on his shoulder, R to rotate. I'm going to move it over here, R to rotate. I'm just trying to align it with the line. Shift D to duplicate, S to scale, Shift D to duplicate again, and then S to scale. I'm going to grab this one. Well, I'll grab this one. Shift D, and then bring them over. I'll just put 2, R to rotate, Shift D, and then we'll put him back here, and then S to scale right there. We'll do the same here, just a couple. Shift D, R to rotate, and then Shift D to duplicate, and then R to rotate, and S to scale. Boom, right there. And I think that's it. Let's zoom out. Right there. Let's go to draw mode so you can see the full. And there's our little character. We drew it, and we didn't use the pencil. We didn't have to use like the tablet or anything. This is all via the mouse, and he turns out really cool. The only other thing that I did is I put some lights. Let's go ahead and get that done before anything else happens. I'm going to go to object mode and add a mesh, a plane, and then I'm going to rotate the plane. It's there, you just can't see it. Check this out, it's there. So I'm going to rotate this plane 90 degrees. And then I'm going to move them back. Hit 0. Now I can just scale them as much as I need. There. And then on this, I'm going to create a new material for this plane. We'll call this plane. And we'll color it whatever color you want, maybe a little something to contrast that green. And then let's add the lights. Recently I've done some lighting videos, so make sure you go check those out, please. Let's go to add a light, and I'm gonna just add a point light. I'm gonna rotate my scene. Remember, this is a full 3D scene, so take advantage of it. And I'm gonna put the light in between both, and then I have to be in my render view so that I can see the effect of this light. I'm gonna first of all crank it up, and the power, I'm gonna push it to about 500. There it is. It's a little too much, but I'm gonna change the color. Maybe give it a little bit of a pink. What happens if I do yellow? And then return. And I think this 500 was a little too much. Let's go 250. There we go. That's it. If you want to do the highlights on his skin, like there's some light hitting him, I'm going to rotate the scene, and I'm going to, with this light selected, Shift D to duplicate, and I'm going to bring him in front of him. See that light is in front of him, and you see the effects. Obviously, I'm going to hit 0, and I'm going to bring this light right where I want that highlight. Obviously, it's too powerful, so let's cut it back to about 50, and let's make it yellow. There we go. You see that, guys? I want to hide the light and see the effect. It may be a little bit too powerful still. Maybe go to 30, and then duplicate it. You can move this light anywhere you want. And I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate, and then I'm going to put one over here so that we have this whole side of him highlighted. And there it is, guys. That is how I got that one done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let me zoom in and save. Hey guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you, guys.